Good, getting better every day. Getting better every day. Just got to keep working at it.
Obviously, this is a big game for a lot of different reasons, but for you personally, playing against the Green Bay Packers, where you grew up as a man and as a football player, it's got to have a little bit of special significance for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously that's the part leading up to it, but then once the game starts, it's just like every other game. I mean, it's not going to be a whole lot of emotion and all that other stuff tied up in it once the clock is ticking. So, the story and the specialness of the opportunity to play the team that you kind of grew up in that organization is special. But then, like I said, once we get going, it's time to go.
There's one way. I mean, obviously, there's I'm sure an appreciation level for what that city has meant to you, what that organization meant to you, as a player and as a human being. But is the best way to thank them for that by going out there and putting your best version out there and going out there to honor what they taught you and how you were brought up?
Well, maybe not the fans. I don't think they would appreciate that. But yeah, the organization. I mean, I'm not looking too deep into it as it pertains to that stuff. It's more just, enjoying the opportunity to see some of the old faces, in the training room, coaches, couple players, much different team over the last couple of years since I was there. So, yeah, just it'll be a cool opportunity to see some of those guys and obviously play against a team that I've never played against. It's my last team to play against, so it'll be fun.
The guy that you've talked about in the past that you kind of helped grow into the man he is in terms of a player, Jair Alexander. Can you just talk about how you've seen him grow just as a person and as a player, and what's it going to be like to go against him?
Yeah, I mean he's one of the most locked in players as far as from the jump that I've got to play with. And I still remember I told a story about our first one-on-one in Green Bay and how I came back in the locker room and he was already on his iPad looking at the tape trying to see exactly what it was. And he came up to me and asked me, what was it that I had seen that led to me doing what I did on the route. So typically at that point, in my career, people were just if you have young guys come in, especially a rookie, they'll come in and then they'll get beat, and it's just kind of like, we'll learn from it on tape, but it wasn't something that really got to them to their core like how it was with him. So that's when I knew he was going to be a special player. And then, I won't say not that I had nothing to do with it, but I didn't create that monster, but he definitely turned into one. So it's always good to see, a player, especially a highly touted player like that, get drafted in the first round and then realize his potential and live up to it. So it's fun to see, and it's definitely going to be fun to play against.
With those experiences and all the reps you took against each other, does this make it even more of a chess match than usual if you guys are matched up against each other Monday?
No, I mean it'll definitely be different than any head-to-head or for lack of better words that I've had in the past. But it'll be just like the other ones in the sense that we're not going to be lined up across from each other every play. He's not going to follow me probably every single place, and that's just by their defensive scheme. I move around a lot and different things like that, and it's just really not how the game is played too much these days. You don't really see one guy just going wherever the guy is because it gives up a lot of tells of what the defense is doing and and just the way that they scheme. So the times that we'll have, we'll definitely go and compete, but it won't be some. We line up each other 70 snaps across from each other the whole game, but it'll be fun either way.
Would you say the way it ended there was more harmonious than maybe it seemed from the outside?
Yeah, I mean, we ended in a good place. I still, not frequently, but I still speak to, the front office guys over there. I checked in on Matt in the offseason, hit him on his birthday. All the coaches over there, I love the ones that are still there. So, the players, obviously, they understood the situation as well. So, it wasn't some big crazy breakup that people thought it was. Obviously, there was. It felt like it just because everything seemed good a week ago, and then obviously, I was gone. But a lot of love and respect, mutual love and respect between the Packers and I.
You and Aaron have both come out publicly and talked about that first offer they made you before the 21 season. You obviously don't go back and play the what-if game, but if they had given you something that had pleased you then, would you still be there, maybe?
Well, I would have played that next year there for sure. I mean, that was what I said. It was obviously a lot of limbo with Aaron and his situation, deciding what his future was going to be like playing football, let alone on that team. So it wasn't really a risk that I could take at the time, and it was a decision that had to be made. But had they made that the correct offer or submitted something like they did right before I left, then I would have 100% been there for another year, and then we would obviously see what happened as it moved forward. But at least for that upcoming season, I would say yes, I would have been there.
There are only 18 guys on that 53 that you played with. Like you said, there's no turnover. Does that make it easier to take kind of the, I don't want to say nostalgia out of this, but the team is so different? Is it just almost another team, or is there still some connection there?
I mean, it's still a connection because it's not really about the players. I'm not bonding with the guys while I'm out there. It's more about the organization and, you know, the uniform, seeing that because I don't know how many more times in my career, and it definitely hasn't happened to this point where I'll be able to line up across from somebody with the green and gold on. You know, that'll take some adjusting, getting used to that. But for the most part, it'll be just another game.
Has some flashes this season, but hasn't been able to find consistency. What do you think the disconnect has been, just in terms of replicating that over and over?
It's just getting a call and executing it every time. It's just a matter of, you know, just being one out there on the field and having all 11 connected to be one, and we haven't had that. It's always been, you know, 10 guys do it right and then one guy does it wrong, or 9 or whatever, everything but 11 consistently, and that's where you make, you know, very difficult. It's difficult to make hay, you know, especially the way we play the game, and we just gotta be more together, and people got to own up and find a way to get their assignment taken care of, and once we do that, we'll be able to make more consistent plays.
In your experience, is that something that clicks at some point, or is it like, is there a turning point?
I mean, it can click, yeah, and you can use that as something that where you use the rhythm and find a way to consistently keep that going, and then it can be a time where you figure it out and then you go on a dry spell. So you just have to, it's always a work in progress. It's never something that you just figure out and then, you know, you got it taken care of. It's something that you got to work at and continue to work at to be in a place where you feel comfortable as a team.
What makes Aaron Jones such a special player, and what can you tell the defense about his style of play from being with him in that locker room for so many years?
Yeah, he's just such a unique runner, very explosive player, and I never seen anybody like him as far as just how vertical he plays. It's not a lot of breaking down, and I think that's a pretty unconventional way of playing that position because, I mean, people are coming out of everywhere. You run it through the smoke, you can easily get hit, especially with the, you know, he's not A.J. Dillon size. So going through the hole, I think it's just people aren't ready for it. It's like I said, it's just so downhill and so vertical. He doesn't really give people time to get a plan together. You just kind of get up on them, and very slippery player and really good vision. And when you put those three together, it creates a pretty big problem.
You guys all good? All right.
Cool.